Hi, this is Hedy from Nanny's Italian Kitchen, and what I will be preparing for you today is homemade mozzarella. This is curd. You can make it from scratch if you want to, but you need a special kind of milk. I tried it a few times, it just didn't work for me. So I got the curd already made. I don't know, I got it at Restaurant Depot. There are maybe some dairies that will sell the curd, but I got it there, and it comes in 10-pound packages, so I break it up. This is 2.5 pounds of curd. What you have to do is you have to cut it or slice it so that when you put the hot water on it, you'll be able to work it. I have water here boiling, and it has to come to a boil, and you should wait until the water is 165 to 170 degrees. I have a thermometer here which I use. You could use whatever kind of thermometer you want. But in the meantime, I'm cutting the curd. Okay, so I've sliced the curd. Don't crumble it up. I used to crumble it up at the beginning and I couldn't get the curd all together. Just slice it in thin slices. And then you could put the salt on here, or you could put the salt in the boiling water, or you don't have to use salt at oil. At all. That's at oil. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt on the curd. And what happens is you put the boiling water on top of the curd, and then you have to work it and stretch it until it comes glistening. It's like looks like satin. And when that happens, then you have to form the balls and put it into the cold water. Some people use ice water. I don't think it's necessary. I tried it once and I think it made it a little bit hard, so I don't like hard mozzarella. And as usual, here's my glass of wine. It's my second one. I think I started a little bit early today because it was a little frustrating and stressful day. So here's my second glass of wine. Okay, this is the water. You got to test it. Right now it's at 160. I like it at 165 to 170 degrees. And that's what I find the mozzarella comes out the best. Okay, so let's see. I'm checking the temperature again. It's there. That's temperature's right. It's 165, 170. I put on rubber gloves because when you're working it with your hands, it's very, very hot. And make sure you cover all of the curd. Okay, now you wait a couple of seconds after you take your sip of wine. See, the curd is starting to melt a little bit. Now what you have to do is make sure you have to, all the lumps, you have to work it out. Stretch it. And you keep stretching it until all those little lumps come out. Now you see the liquid that's here? That's called whey. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. And some people drink it and save it or use it for other things. Unfortunately, I don't really like to drink it. I discard it. Here you go, stretching it out. See, it's starting to get silky. Getting all the lumps out. All these lumps that are in there. go, see the lumps there? There you go. Let's have a few more lumps, and we're going to take it out and start to form the balls. You can make little, small, tiny balls if you want. They're called bocconcino, but I make about 1 pound balls. I don't really measure it, but I eyeball it, just like I eyeball everything. You know, when my mother used to cook, she never had a recipe. She would always eyeball everything, and everything always came out perfect. Whatever it was, the meatballs, the sauce, the gravy, whatever. She did it by eye. And most of the times that's what I do. But I've been writing it down lately because my children, my grandchildren, my daughter-in-law, they like to have recipes. So here we go. It's just about done. All of the little lumps are out. So what I do is put it in here, and then you take out I measure about a ball here, about a pound. You work it. And then you put it in the cold water to stop it from cooking anymore. Now, you got to leave it in the water for a little while, because if you don't leave it in the water for a little while, what happens is, because it's still hot, it's going to come flat out like a pancake. So you take it and you put them in the cold water. Here's the last of it. See, I made sure that I didn't get any of those little balls. When I used to do it in balls, and I crumble it up. And that was the worst thing I could have done, because not all of it came together. Now I just slice it so that the hot water can get through it. And it's coming out perfect, see? Silky. Here you go. Now, just let it rest in the water for at least a half hour before you start to slice it. Now, here's the way. Little Miss Muffet would love this, but I have to throw it out. I'm sorry, Little Miss Muffet. Here you go. Okay, well, I think the moozie's just about ready, but in the meantime, I'm going to slice up a couple of one tomato. And what I like to do is the caprese salad, is what most people call it, caprese salad. I slice up the tomatoes, and then I slice up the mozzarella. You let it rest for like a half hour, and now we're going to slice the mozzarella. I'll take the small one. Wonderful. Nothing like fresh mozzarella. I remember when I was in Italy, and we took a road trip, and we stopped at this farm and had this fresh buffalo mozzarella. Oh my God, it was so, we were on the bus, I was on a tour. It was like melts in your mouth. This is the best. I mean, I could live on mozzarella, to be perfectly honest, and so can my daughter. So we put a slice of mozzarella. It's still a little warm. You could have made it rest a little bit more. And you continue around and put your mozzarella and your tomato. I chop up some fresh basil. I always have a plant in my house. I couldn't live without basil. I mean, my son wanted to make send it in to make a basil cologne. I don't know if anybody would wear it, but be careful, people will be chomping on your neck. Okay, and you put a little bit of oil, and if you want a little bit of salt, not a lot, because some people don't like it. I already put a little bit of salt in the mozzarella. And then serve it, relax, and enjoy. I make it on the holidays. Since I started making it a few years ago, everybody expects to see it, especially my daughter. Okay, so here's the finished product. And remember, you can't make any of this stuff without having a glass of wine. Bon appetit. Come on, get out of the kitchen. And you, what's with the hat? What's with the hat here? Okay, bon appetit.
Beer.
Get out, get out.
Who drinks the whey? Disgusting.
Degli occhi tuoi blu, felice di stare qua giù, nel blu degli occhi tuoi blu, felice di stare qua giù.